Good evening and welcome to another episode of Cinema and Chat with Nethile. So it's been a while since I've done one of these LinkedIn lives. It has been a while, and I plan to make this more regular thing. I plan on bringing someone every month, and I plan on doing it more often. So today we have Mr. Don Sherman. He's known very well as the singing chef. He's a entertainer, a host, and he's also a trainer. So let's bring him on. Hello, Mr. Sherman. How are you?
Very good evening, Nithila.
How's the weather like in Australia?
Weather is like in Sri Lanka. Things are changing every moment.
Ah, it's very cold these days as well. It's pretty rainy for us.
Correct. Unpredictable. So weather is pretty wet in these days. And as you all know, Nithila, Melbourne weather is all 4 seasons at a day. Sometimes it's cold and rainy and
Yeah.
shiny sometime as well. So we are used for that. Yeah.
So our topic today is, can a chef become an entrepreneur? So I'd like to learn from you about this. So let's dive into the questions.
All right.
So for our single, we might have a single audience as well. So I'm gonna ask a few 2 or 3 questions in Sinhala if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So first question I'll ask this in Sinhala. So Mr. Sherman, ඔයා දැන් පාසල් යන කාලේ කොයි වගේද? පොඩි විස්තරයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද?
Okay. හොඳයි ඔක්කොට විසල නිතිල thank you very much for having me in this conversation. ඉතින් මේ වගේ conversation එකකට දැන් television program and chat and online conversations වලට ගියාට මේ වගේ පොඩි champion කෙනෙක් එක්ක මම first time තමයි මේ වගේ chat එකක් කරන්නේ. ඉතින් I want to give my sincere gratitude to you as a young champion who initiate this මේ වගේ දෙයක් පටන් අරගෙන ලෝකෙම ඉන්න දරුවන්ට ආදර්ශයක් කළා මේක කරන එක ගැන මම ගොඩක් සන්තෝෂයි මුලින්ම. So I really appreciate this opportunity and I take this as a privilege. Okay. ඔයාගේ
It is a privilege for me, sir, for you to just spend your time
I'm
like
glad.
this and come when you're very busy.
I'm glad about it and the other thing is ඔයා පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ මම පොඩි කාලේ මොනවා වගේද කියලා ඇහුවොත් එම පොඩි කාලේ ගොඩක් දේවල් උත්සාහ කරපු සහ හැම දෙයකම උනන්දුවෙන් හිටපු කෙනෙක්. ඒ කියන්නේ හැම දෙයකම මගේ තිබිච්ච කැමැත්ත උරගා බලනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ මම try කරනවා ගොඩක් දේවල් වලට. I want to become an actor, singer. එතනින් ගියාම අපි කියමු cricketer, politician and singer. ඔය වගේ දේවල් වලට මගේ පොඩි කාලේ රේඩියෝ එකකින් ටෙලිවිෂන් එකකින් සහ පත්තර වලින් සහ මම දැකපු දේවල් වලින් මම හරි අස ඉමිටේට් කරලා චරිතයක් වෙන්න. එහෙමත් නැත්නම් අපි දැන් කියනවා වගේ entrepreneur කෙනෙක් වෙන්න. but ඒ ඔක්කොම පොඩි කාලේ අපිට යම් කිසි සීමාවක් තියෙනවා. මොකද අපේ priority එක තියෙන්නේ ඉගෙන ගන්න. ඊට පස්සේ හැමෝටම වැඩි හිටියන්ට කියපුවම මට එන්න ඕන ගායකයෙක් වෙන්න ඕන, මට සිංගර් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕන. නෑ ඔක්කොටම ඉස්සෙල්ලා ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන. ඉගෙන ගන්න වැඩ අල්පපසු කරන්න එපා කියන එකේ කැප් එක තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ කාලේ හැටියට ඉගෙන ගන්න එක තමයි ප්‍රයොරිටි එක තිබුණේ. ඉතින් O levels කරලා ඉවරුණාට පස්සේ මගේ ප්‍රයොරිටි එකේ chance එකක් තියෙනවා results එනකන්. ඒ කාලේ තමයි මට මේ මගේ ආසාවන් වලට තැන හම්බුනේ. මගේ අංකල්ගේ catering service එකකින් මම පළවෙනි සැරේ මම අවුරුදු 15 කාලේ මම trainee cook කෙනෙක් හැටියට වැඩ කරා.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඒ පොඩි explanation එකට. Thank you very much. So next question I'm going to ask in English for a few more questions. It'll be English. We also have a comment over here from Noor Mohammed. Good afternoon, Mr. Noor Mohammed. Thank you for coming. So next question. So you mentioned that your uncle had a catering service and that's how you developed the interest in cooking, right?
Correct.
So like how deep was that interest? Like would you go to this like how did you learn about this catering service, and can you explain a bit more in detail?
Absolutely. Now, when you're expecting results in that age, when you're a teenager, at that time of the era, there was a bit of a trend that you do a computer course. You must have heard about it. Computer course was a bit of a high spotlight those days. So everybody used to do a computer course or certain other English course for the next level that they want to develop their skills. But I had the interest of doing some creative things. So since my uncle had a catering service, I thought of why not just going overlook this catering, the chefs, how they're working. And then uncle asked me whether you like to do this. So I didn't have any idea of how this food is being created or how this orders being given at the right time. So I just started as just as a beginner, as a starter, and just startup. And then I realized that the cooking is not just an activity or a job or just a task or a simple thing.
It's an
It's a deep,
experience.
absolutely an experience, as well as it's a deep. A creative thing. So I always believe that food is all about between science and art. So then I realized there's creativity behind it and a lot more to learn and a lot more going deep. So then my uncle requested me, or rather offered me, why don't you go to the hotel school in the meantime and learn about it theoretically and professionally. Then I went to the hotel school and did my basics in hotel and hospitality and international cuisine. That's how I realize this trade is a profession as well as it's an art.
I myself have an interest in cooking. Once in a while I'd go into the kitchen, and if my mom's making food, I'll always snoop around, here and there. I'd grab something and then see how it tastes. So my interest isn't as deep as yours, but I'm sure anybody enjoys cooking.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everybody can do the cooking. It's a matter of how you think about it and what's the interest and creativity that you have. Because cooking is not just an activity, as I mentioned earlier. It's something. It's something that you have in your mind and taken into your hands and create like an art. You know.
So how did you become a chef? A chef is someone who's professional in the art of cooking.
Like in every trade and every profession, Nithila, you need to study the basics and then you enter to the trade or the profession and then climb the ladder. So that's how I did. So I just joined as an apprentice I'm talking about in the late 80s to Hotel Lanka Broy. That was Cinnamon Grand now. So I entered like a trainee, and then I was qualified to work in a few years, and then we moved. Then I moved into Sri Lankan Airlines, where I worked about 10 years. So with that experience and hands-on training and the qualification that you get, and work with different nationalities, different chefs, and the experience, getting those things and getting all the capabilities sharpened, I could able to do my diploma and next level of international cuisine in hotel management in year 2000 in Ceylon Hotel School, where I graduate as a hotel school graduate, and then started my own career, which I didn't want to become an executive chef in a particular hotel or establishment, where I want to come out with in the showbiz, where I really develop myself as a next level of a freelance chef, where I consider myself as a bit of a celebrity status in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about you. You've been called like the singing chef. And so becoming a chef is not an easy thing. It's a very professional, and it's a long journey to learn all the
Absolutely.
different cuisines and everything.
Correct. It's a
Uh,
long task, I would say, and long and challenging, and it's dynamic profession, and it's never ending learning in this profession.
I also watched this cook called Gordon Ramsay. I'm sure you know him.
Of
He's
course,
a,
he's one of the top chefs and top, I would say,
yeah,
top
I watch a
entertainer.
lot
And
of his
yeah,
videos.
correct, correct.
Now you're a famous host in Sri Lanka. So how did you develop the skills to become a TV host and be able to appear on TV and not be nervous? How did you develop those kind of skills?
As I said earlier, Nithala, I was very keen on imitating people, right? And those days, starting from singers to actors to politicians or newsreaders, you name anyone comes on television, or maybe in church, in the priest, in the church, or maybe whoever I see or met those days, I like to imitate. So that was my passion to come out as a TV personality, as a chef. So when I see the TV programs, cooking and whatnot in very young days or early days of my career, I thought I could do better than this. I could do something different. So then, whenever I get my qualification done, when I get my certifications done, I wanted to come out in television. So I was looking for a opportunity. Then soon I left my hotel school in 2000 as a graduate. I got an opportunity to do a assistant role for a chef for a particular program.
Yeah.
Then that particular program, the producer of that TV channel, identified and realized that I could do something. So that's where my turning point and trigger point, and I started my career from that. That onwards, I was going on live and I was going on my own TV show like the Cook with Don, and yeah, by the time I developed my singing career. So likewise, I can always say that everyone has that potential if you want, because nowadays everyone can start your own channel, own platform of social media rather than waiting for the mainstream media or television or whatnot. Yeah.
So you had an interest to be on a show, like be a celebrity kind of thing. You wanted to
Yeah.
you had that interest. You wanted to be
Of
something
course,
like
I
that.
wanted. That's what I wanted exactly.
And now you are known as a chef, you're a singer, an entertainer, a host, you're a trainer. So you developed a lot of skills.
Yeah, why not? Because I always love to explore different and new opportunities. Now, in fact, if you know my close friends, very known about it, because I wanted to do something different every, I would say, every moment or every aspect or every chances that I'm getting. That's why I didn't want to become an employee or just an ordinary person who works 8 to 5, and that's how I started my stage performance. Even when I'm singing, it's totally different than I do cooking or just doing as working as a trainer. So likewise, every trade that I involve or every profession or every opportunities that I get, I love to develop that into a next level. That's how I created my songs called Chicken Fried Rice, Ice Cream Kottu, and so on. These things, all creations that I did in some time back, and I'm working on a new songs as well these days. So likewise, everybody has that potential. If anyone can think, hey, come on, I want to do something extraordinary or different than the others, rather than copying someone. That is the thing that everybody needs to be think about your potentials to come out on a platform.
Yeah, like nobody wants to see themselves as a copycat. Now,
Correct.
as I said, you are a chef, you're a singer, you're a host, an entertainer, a trainer. How did you develop so many of these skills?
Well, development is itself develop. I would say it is not something that someone comes and train you, or someone comes and push you to do something. It is that inspiration that you get through with the other things that you see and feel, and then you apply into the practice, and then you get the opportunity on you. Because in nowadays, Nithila, there are so much things that you can do. That's how I did myself when I looking back from way back in another 15 to 20 years. If I look back myself, there wasn't anybody that come behind you and, hey, you're good in that, why don't you develop this? And not like that. I develop my capabilities and go behind the opportunities. That is how I came into a position where I'm standing. It doesn't mean that I'm on the top, or maybe I'm the best, or I'm the only. It is nothing like that. We are still on a journey. It's nothing the end of the journey. Until you live in this world, you're going through a journey. So it's just a little thing that I add into the industry. So I may have a lot of opportunities in future as well if I can really work hard on it.
So, thank you for that simple explanation. We have a comment here from Mr. Kamage, Mr. Amita. Thank you both for helping the younger generation like this. No problem. I'm sure Mr. Sherman here is also very happy to be helping the younger generation. We also have another comment here. Love to see this show. Good work, Natila. Keep it up. Your lovely work. Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Sherman, my next question to you is: do people in Australia still call you the singing chef?
Absolutely, you're spot on. The people that I know, they know. I mean, let's talk about Sri Lankan community living in Australia, and especially in Melbourne. They know me very well, and they are very good with me. But that is how your native people or your own people recognize you, and they know who you are. But my
Yeah.
main idea is, when you're living in a different country with multinational communities around me, my intention is to develop my capacity with among non-Sri Lankans, because currently I'm a member of Australian Culinary Federation and Technical Chefs of Australia. So likewise, different national bodies that I'm associating comprised with hundreds and number of different nationalities and different qualified individuals, where they have different knowledge capacity. So I'm among with them. So in near future, or maybe in another few years in time, I would definitely expand my capacity into the next level, where I currently in a journey to become somebody else in next level, because I have done certain things back in Sri Lanka. So now I'm living in a different country where the situation is different, and the way you get things is different. And this is also a journey. I wouldn't say this is not given on a platter. It is a journey. You need to go through among them and search them and get the best out of it. Even 2 hours before I started this program, I was in the city with Australian Culinary Federation Victorian Sector Committee meeting. I'm currently a member of the committee. So likewise, we work on different level, like how to get the young chefs into work, and how we uplift them, and a lot of things we implement. And likewise, I mean, people who has the capacity to develop, we are working on a good interest on them. So I'm definitely part of that groups, and I also get benefit in big time on those things as well. So as you ask, do Sri Lankans or others call me a Sri Lankan, or the other nationalities call me a singing chef? Of course. In fact, I recently performed in the biggest venue in a biggest exhibition in Melbourne called Fine Food Exhibition with my song Chicken Fried Rice, where the top-notch chefs and all the business entrepreneurs were around me, and they surprised me. They surprised that performance, and they said, "Oh my God, what's this song? How could you do this?" And it was something I really got that as an offer. Something I really liked it as well. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question I have, I will asking Sinhala. Mr. Sherman මෙතන ඉන්නවනේ කට්ටිය බලනවා අනාගතයේදී ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට සර්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් ඇඩ්වයිස් එක මොකක්ද?
ඇඩ්වයිස් එකක් දෙන්න හොඳ නෙමේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න ඕන බූස්ට් එක. මං කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න තියෙන ටොනික් එක.
Motivation එක.
That's right. ටොනික් එක, විටමින් එක, ඉන්ජෙක්ෂන් එක, මොටිවේෂන් එක, rather than giving an advice. මොකද ඇඩ්වයිස් දෙන කට්ටිය ඕන තරම් ඉන්නවනේ ලංකාවේ. ඇඩ්වයිස් කාරයෝ තමයි ගොඩක් ඉන්නේ. Okay, let me say like this. මම හිතනවා ඕනම කෙනෙකුට okay, become a chef is not an easy task. I mentioned. ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් වෙන එක නිකන් මේ සිම්පල් වැඩක් නෙමෙයි, ලේසි දෙයක් නෙමෙයි, සිම්පල් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. ඒ වගේම තමයි ඔයා ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් විතරක් නෙමෙයි, ඕනම ට්‍රේඩ් එකක ඔයාට ඉදිරියට එන්න ඕන නම් there are lot of hard work behind it. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් හිතන්න 100 meters දුවලා ඔලිම්පික් මෙඩල් එකක් ගන්න ඕන නම් 100 meters කියන්නේ මෙහෙම කරද්දි තප්පර ගානකින් දුවන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් අවුරුදු ගානක ප්‍රැක්ටිස් සහ ජීවිත කාලේ කැපවීම කරලා තමයි ඒක ගන්නෙ. ඒ වගේම තමයි ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් කියපුවාම මේ ලුණු ගෙඩියක් කපපු පරියට ඒප්‍රන් එක ඇඳුම ඇඳගෙන එළියට ඇවිල්ලා මෙහෙම පිහගත්ත පතියට ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මම කියන්නේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඕනම ට්‍රේඩ් එකක ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක්ද, ඇක්ටර් කෙනෙක්ද, සිංගර් කෙනෙක්ද, any professional, any entrepreneur or any hero කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඕන නම් continuous work and never give up attitude. That is the continuous work into your dream, right? Dream is not become a reality in overnight.
ඒ ඩ්‍රීම් එක ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් පැෂන් එකකුත් තියෙනවනේ. පැෂන් එක නැත්නම් කරන්න බෑ.
Absolutely. තමන්ගේ පැෂන් එක හඳුනාගෙන, ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් හිතන්න නිතිල අපිට මොකක් හරි කරන්න තියෙනවා, නමුත් අද සීතයි, අද වහිනවා කියලා අපේ අල්ටිමේට් ඩ්‍රීම් එක පස්සට දාන්නේ නැහැ. වැස්සත් එකයි, අවුවත් එකයි, ඇඟ රිදුනත් එකයි, කොන්ද රිදුනත් එකයි, යන්න බෑ කියලා හිතුනත් එකයි. අපි ඒවා ටික ඔක්කොම පැත්තක දාලා අපේ අල්ටිමේට් ඩ්‍රීම් එක කරන්න ඕනේ. සමහර වෙලාවට pains and hard times ගොඩක් එනවා මේ ඕනම එකකට ඉදිරියට යද්දී. දැන් ඔයා අහපු ප්‍රශ්නේ හැටියට chef කෙනෙක් වෙද්දී you get disappointment, you get worries, and you get pains, and you get so much of drawbacks. ඒවා ඔක්කොම පැත්තකින් තියලා අපේ අල්ටිමේට් ඩ්‍රීම් එකට තමයි යන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට අපි කියන්නේ මේ delay gratification. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ instant gratification කියන්නේ අපි හිතනවා මේ වෙලාවේ අපි හොඳට සන්තෝෂෙන් මේ වෙලාවේ satisfy වුණත් එහෙම we always love to have the instant gratification. අපිට quick satisfaction එකක් තමයි අපි හැමෝම මිනිස්සු හැටියට බලන්නේ. But delay gratification කියන තීරකේ අපි කියන්නේ අපිට පස්සේ ලැබෙන වාසියක් පස්සේ ලැබෙන බෙනිෆිට් එකක් නිසා දැන් අපි ඒකට කැප වෙලා hard time වැඩ කරලා අපි ඒක achieve කරගන්න එකක් තමයි ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් වෙන්නත් තියෙන්නේ.
ඕම ස්තුතියි ඒ ඇඩ්වයිස් මං හිතනවා මෙතන බලන් ඉන්න ගොඩක් අනාගතයේ ෂෙෆ් කෙනෙක් වෙන කට්ටියට ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් මොටිවේෂන් එකක් ආවා පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක අහලා comments පොඩ්ඩකුත් තියෙනවා. Thanks both of you, Tilan and Ayanajit. Thank you very much for being on the show. Good work, Natila. Keep it up. Thank you. Excellent show. Truly insightful content. Wishing you all the best. Thank you, Mr. Asante. So, Mr. Sherman, my next question would be that you have a great public speaking ability. You can speak public in front of a huge audience very well because I've seen your talks and stuff. How did you develop this skill?
Okay, let me give you a straight answer. Develop this skill, public speaking, is continuous speaking. That is the simple thing.
Yeah. But the
Right?
thing is, like, when we say continuous speaking, we also talk with our friends. That is casual talk,
Correct.
nothing to be
Correct.
nervous about. But
Okay.
when you're doing something professional in front of the public,
Okay, let me take like this now, Nitila. This is something good for you as well. I'm talking on my personal opinion, right? Now you are a champion, you're an entrepreneur, young entrepreneur, and also you have certain skills developing, sharpening. Now, if anyone like you or me or anyone who's watching that you want to develop your personal skills like talking, public speaking, always do in front of the mirror at the beginning. That's how I did when I was small. I can remember my grandma has a mirror. අර අල්මාරි කියලා තියෙන අල්මාරි ඉස්සරහ තියෙන mirror එක.
in front of the
Yeah,
cupboard,
you know
there's a
that.
big mirror in the
Correct. So you go in front of that and you speak to your audience. Audience is you. You can see on the mirror. So you speak, then you see all your expressions, right? That is the number one, step number one. Then you speak with someone by getting to their shoes, that get into their mindset, right? Not throwing everything what you have. Then mama television program එක කරද්දී on ITN එකේ මම කරා අවුරුදු 10කට වැඩිය cook with on. I always think that this is someone is in front of me. නැතුව මම මේ කියන්නේ මගේ කයිවාරු විතරක් නෙමෙයි. සමහරවිට මම කියලා තියෙනවා නිතිල මගේ programs වල cooking programs වල ඔන්න මම මේක තක්කලි ගෙඩියක් ගන්නවා. මොනවද මේකේ පාට? ඔව් මට තේරෙනවා ඔය රතු කියලා කියනවා. අපි මේ මොනවද මේකට කියන්නේ? අන්න හරි. තක්කලිනේ, right. එතකොට you feel like you're connecting each other. That is what
audience,
you need to
connecting with
audience
the
connection. Absolutely. That is what you need to do. Even though you do a speech for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, if you can touch the hearts of the viewer or the audience, that's it's all about. You don't have to speak for hours and hours to get someone's attention. All right, absolutely, that is the key ingredient. Practice yourself with you and then you get into your audience shoes or your audience thought process or their mindset or their understanding. එතකොට තමයි ඔයාට ඒගොල්ලන්ව ටච් කරන්න පුළුවන්. eye contact එයා මේ ඔක්කොම එන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ eye contact එක tonality එක voice එකේ මේ quality එක and how you raise your voice in different patterns. Those are all later
They're
part
crucial.
of the conversation. Yeah, not crucial as long as you can touch somebody's heart when you're talking. That is the key ingredient, I believe. Okay,
Like, I remember when the first time that I ever spoke publicly, I was just 10 years old. So I would present my favorite. There was this book club that I go to. I do a presentation for about a book, my favorite book, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Back then, I was just 10 years old. So when I practiced for that, I was really nervous. I would go to my room. My brother and father are sitting on the bed. I'm rehearsing in front of them. I'm pretending that they are the audience. I'm making eye contact with them. I'll ask questions in the middle. Do you know who this is? Do you know what this is? So just to connect with the audience.
absolutely. I'm definitely sure now, since you told me, I'm definitely sure your good work with the doing the little speeches in front of the kids, like in your
In the workshops, I had
library.
to connect with them as much as possible, give small activities in the middle.
Very good. I really admire your work, Nitila. It is a very bright light in future. I'm definitely sure you can do a speaker in large audience like a TED Talk or maybe a huge Colosseum. Yeah, so many things that you can do.
Thank you, sir. So my next question is like, now parents encourage their children to go on traditional education streams, and you have chosen like multiple like opposite streams. And like, what is your advice, parents, on this topic?
Well, for the parents, they always expect their kids to be the best. That is what every parent needs. Even I do have two kids. They're grown up anyway. Now their daughter is 21 and son is 17. And even when they were small, I didn't want to push them hard to become someone or become a certain professional or anything like that. So I believe if parents can identify the kids' capacity and
Yeah,
identify their
the
potential,
passion
that
and potential
that's
skills.
absolutely as a package. They because they live with you. The kids always be hanging around with the parents and live with parents. So with their behavior and their interest, their move, their talk, and their expectations, everything can be identified living with them. That is what, as a educated parent, mother or father, they need to support. It doesn't mean they, if they want to become an actor, artist, or maybe a politician, or a engineer, or even a creator, artist in the sense like a certain capacity, like whatever the profession, you need to support them. By
Be-
supporting them, they might do that into a next level, or they might get some benefit out of that particular trade, and they go into a different profession. As an example, අපි හිතමු කාපෙන්ටර් කෙනෙක් වෙන්න ඔයාගේ ළමයෙක් කැමති පොඩි කෙනෙක් අහන.
yeah,
එතකොට දෙමව්පියෝ කියන හා 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 වඩු වැඩ කරන්න එපා. නැත්තම් පයිප් හදන්න, වතුර දාන්න, ගාඩන් හදන්න,
because
ඒ
when
වගේ
the
දේ කම.
child says that, they think that they are gonna do those, like hard work, like fixing pipes and everything. But when
Correct.
in reality, they could run a company like that. Like
Absolutely, you are correct. You
there's
understood.
a completely different meaning.
You absolutely got my point. That is what I'm trying to say. So it is what the thing that parents need to understand, because nowadays you can get the whole world into your palm and check everything. You can Google it. You can certainly study a particular trade, or maybe you can go into the deep in one particular word even, right? So like an encyclopedia is in within you. So the kids get that capacity and the opportunity to study, search, do research, and do anything that they want in particular thing. So parents has the fullest authority to guide the children into the right path, but not giving the traditional professions like you said. No, not the same good old professions like doctor, lawyer, proctor, banker, not those things. I mean, I won't say that they are bad. They have still the
The world
highest
needs
priority.
lawyers and
Correct.
doctors and everybody, but they also need other people,
Correct.
engineers,
Correct.
entrepreneurs, businessmen.
Correct. Now, to tell you honestly, in Australia, the tradies earn better than the other 8 to 5 white collar jobs people. If you can be a plumber, if you can become a plumber or a carpenter or bricklayer, අපි කියන බාසුන් නැහැ කියලා, here we
Yeah,
call
yeah.
bricklayers, right? Okay, they earn much better than the other people, and they are high in demand as well. There's a lack of particular tradies here as well.
Because they're
So
creative.
they're creative, and it's a passion of another sector. It's not the white collar job or the office job, or they're also entrepreneurs, freelance entrepreneurs.
Mr. Sherman, you have developed your personal brand in like many fields. And what I want to know is like how you managed to do that, to develop your personal brand in so many different fields.
Well, I wouldn't say that I have developed them into ultimate, but I'm still in the progress. I always think about me and always think about my capacity. I'm still in the mustard seed level, and I'm still in the process of developing my capacity. But as having said that, whatever the things that I have developed so far is because of my interest and managing the time and the interest, as well as the other things as well, your personal things like your family, your other earnings, and other time, and giving time to the others, and associating a social life, by keeping everything in balance. That is what you need to do. If you're crazy for something, maybe a trade or a profession, if you're 100% given into that, and your other balance of your life, like your social life, and the other thing is given up, then you won't become a fulfilled personality. So you want to have a good personal skills,
Yep.
social standard, and then develop your other capacities and brand. And the other thing is, Nithila, I want to tell you this as well, because you are an upcoming entrepreneur and a speaker and a very bright star. Maintaining your image is another key factor to development, and sustain your stardom or the show business. To become a star is easy. That's what they say. Become a spotlight personality and is easy, but being in the limelight for a longer period of time is something a task, right? So overnight success is always good. There's nothing wrong with it. You can win a lottery and you can be a millionaire, but how do you manage that money and develop that money and sustain that money, or sustain the fame, or sustain the spotlight what you get? And being in the limelight is more important. For that, you need to have a lot of knowledge and a lot of patience and a lot of other talents as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Next question again. It's gonna be the last singular question that I'm gonna ask. Mr. Sherman, මුහුණ දීපු අභියෝග challenges මොනවාද? තව ඒ overcome කරේ කොහොමද?
Okay, challenges මොනවාද ලයිෆ් එකේ තියෙන challenges? හැමෝටම තියෙන එක challenges වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මම හිතන්නේ මට කියලා විශේෂ challenge එකක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. මට පොඩි දවස්වල challenge එකකට තිබුණේ ගොඩාක් ස්මාර්ට් නෑ, ගොඩාක් ඉංග්‍රීසි කතා කරන්න බෑ, ගොඩාක් එක එක දේවල් වලට ඉදිරිපත් වීමේදී නැත්තම් ඉස්සරහට යද්දි තියෙන නිකන් I don't know, there's nothing like particular, but I felt myself, oh my god, මට වැඩිය හොඳ කට්ටිය එතන ඉන්න තිබුණා. ඉන්න ඇති. නැත්තම් මට වැඩිය හොඳට කැපැසිටි එකක් තියෙන, කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්, efficient, ඉදිරිපත් වෙන, ඉදිරියට යන අය මම ඉස්කෝලේදීත් එහෙම සමහර අවස්ථාවලදී හිතලා තියෙනවා. ඕ මම නෙමෙයි, මට වැඩිය අනිත් අය efficient නැතිනේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ හොඳට ඉගෙන ගන්න ඇති. නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ව කැපී පේනවා ඇති. නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ භාෂා දැනුම එහෙමත් නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ තවත් මොනවා හරි දෙයක් මට වැඩිය හොඳ ඇති කියලා මට සමහර තැන්වලදී ආපු හීනමානයක් තිබුණා. ඒව තමයි මම හිතන්නේ මට ආපු challenges කියලා. නමුත් internal growth එක, internal interest එක ඒකට වඩා වැඩි වුණ ගමන්ම අර ඔක්කොම overcome කරලා ඉවරලා කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් ඒවා වගේ දේවල් මට ගොඩක් තිබුණා. සමහර දේවල් වලට ඉදිරිපත් වෙද්දී මට චකිතයක්, ගැස්මක් ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා ඇතුළෙන්ම මට හිතෙනවා නෑ එක්කෝ මේක මම නොකර ඉන්න ඕනේ, ඊළඟ සැරේ කරන්න ඕනේ. නැත්තම් මේ සැරේ බලාගෙන ඉඳලා පස්සේ දවසක කරනවා, later on procrastination. හැම වෙලේම අපි වැඩක් පස්සට දාන එක. අන්න ඒ වගේ දේවල් මගේ personal challenges නැතුව external challenges නෙමෙයි, මගේ internal challenges වලින් මම සමහර වෙලාවට drawback වෙච්ච වෙලාවල් තිබුණා මුල් දවස්වල සහ අපේ ජීවිත එක කාලවල වලදී යම් කිසි හේතුන් මත එහෙම වෙච්ච challenges තිබුණා. මම සමහර වෙලාවට දෙතුන් දෙනෙක් ඉදිරිපත් වෙන තැන්වලදී මම ඒගොල්ලන්ට chances දීලා අයිනට වෙන සහ මේ drawback වෙන සහ අයින් වෙන ගතියක් මුල් කාලේ ගොඩක් තිබුණා. ඒක තාමත් සමහර වෙලාවට ඇති. ඒක මං හිතනවා මගේ තිබිච්ච අඩුපාඩුවක්. ඒක opportunity එකක් හම්බුණත් ඒක threat එකක් හැටියට අරගෙන මම ඒක අයින් වෙච්ච අවස්ථාවල් තිබුණා. ඒක මං හිතන්නේ internal challenge එකක් වෙන්න ඇති. නමුත් ඒක ඩෙවලොප් කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණා සමහර ඒවට තියෙන මට ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක නිසා. මම හිතනවා ඔයාගේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට මම උත්තර දුන්නද කියලා හරියට.
Oh, ඒක දිග simple උත්තරයක්. ඒක හොඳයි. Now, Mr. Sherman, you're an entrepreneur, right? You are an entrepreneur. From what I can understand, you are a chef entrepreneur, right?
You can say so. You are saying.
Yeah. How would you encourage entrepreneurship? Why do you encourage entrepreneurship?
All right. Now, entrepreneur is the word is given for someone who take a challenge and go beyond the capacity or go beyond the box or the bubble and try to start your own thing and expand into the next level. So when you start your own thing in the sense, not a business sometime, okay? Maybe if you're a writer, maybe you're a creator.
Yeah, even your simplest hobby could just become a business.
Correct, right? So absolutely correct. So likewise, when you become an entrepreneur, you get a lot of challenges. You get a lot of hard situations. Not always a good thing. And as an entrepreneur, it's just a one I would say it's a one word, but it connects with so many other qualities. You need to have good social talent, and you need to have got a lot of thinking power, lot of creativity, and a lot of other qualifications, in the sense that self-qualifications to become an entrepreneur. And your mindset is the key thing to become an entrepreneur. So if you can think out of the box, and if you can believe and work towards to what you think and achieve that target, and if you can have a strong mission to your vision, that is an entrepreneur, as I believe. So likewise, an entrepreneur can be anyone. Maybe you're a man or a woman, a kid or an adult or in your 30s or in your 50s, you can still become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, being an entrepreneur is not a thing that a business owner, I wouldn't say. All right. So, I believe Nitil is a very good entrepreneur, right? You can do your studies, you can do your schoolwork, you can play in the evening, and you can hang out with your friends and do the other things. But your entrepreneurial skills describe and explain everything what you do. That is what I believe. Even I wanted to become an entrepreneur from the small days, because entrepreneurs always think out of the box. They don't like to do 7 to 5 jobs, or they don't like to go
You
on
take
the same.
risks.
Correct, and they don't like to become on the same track the others go. They always think out of the box. Now with this social media, Nitila, there are millions entrepreneurs has developed their mind, and they have the capacity, they have the platform to become an entrepreneur. Now you can start up your own business, you can start up your own service, or you can start up your own network group through the mainstream media, mainstream socials, likewise anyone. So I believe that I really like capacities that newer generation, younger generations has, even especially young bodies like you, right? So you are a very good spotlight to most of, and very good leader to many hundreds and thousands of Sri Lankans and non-Sri Lankans across the world.
Okay. Thank you, sir. It means a lot coming from you. You are also a very multi-skilled person. From what I've learned about you, you are a very multi-skilled person. And it's my last question to you. What skills do you think kids need for the future? What skills do you think that kids will need for the future?
Okay, kids needs all about to balance their lifestyle and thinking power and holding it. That is what I believe. I mean, you can say, come on, study well and be honest and be obedient to parents. Those are all traditional skills. Of course, they need it. But apart from that, if you can think very strong thinking and holding it and work for it. I mean, thinking can be any good thing that you have in your mind. If you want to become a film director, if you want to become I would say whatever the profession or the art, or maybe a concept creator, maybe you want to develop an app, that's your final object, is to develop an app. That app will give some benefit to the world.
Yeah,
Elon Musk was a total entrepreneur who thinks differently, right? Likewise,
because
Richard
entrepreneurs
Branson,
solve
or
problems.
of course, there are hundreds of top-notch entrepreneurs, but you don't have to become like them in overnight. When you're a young student, when you're a young kid, of course, you can think out of the box and do your day-to-day work and do something else better than that, rather than you're doing only your main task is to study. But if you can do something else and achieve and show the world that you are somebody, that is what you need to become, that entrepreneur, as well as to develop your entrepreneurial skills to become the real entrepreneur in future. Be sustain on that. That is what I believe as a thinking power, and holding for it and work for it is the key thing.
Okay, Mr. Sherman. So first of all, I would like to thank you very much for, I'm sure you have a very busy schedule. You're very busy person. You have a lot of work. You're the singing chef after all. So I'm sure you're very busy these days. So thank you very much for taking your time to help me learn about you and also spread the word to the audience that is watching this, because I'm sure they also learned a lot from this. And I would also like to thank the audience for staying with us and listening to me what Mr. Sherman had to say. Thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure once again, Nitila, and your wonderful father as well, and all those who have watched this program. It's never get tired to speak with young entrepreneurs like you, and of course to support you. And you can count on me in your future activities, or maybe anything that you want to spread your wings to Melbourne and Australia, and or even to next level. I'm more than happy to help you and assist you and give the guidelines, or maybe if I can give some kind of a help or anything like that, I'm more than happy to be part of your future success.
So once again, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Sherman, and thank you very much to the audience for coming. We will now end the broadcast.
Beautiful, wonderful. Have a wonderful day to everybody, and keep rocking. Life is so beautiful.